Hi, my name is Erin Leib Smokler, and I teach here in the Continuing Education program. This week's Parsha is Parashat Bamidbar. Bamidbar is essentially a census and an accounting of the camp construction of the Jewish people as they wandered through the desert. It begins with God's command to Moshe to count the people and proceeds to list each tribe, its leadership, and its numbers. The tribe of Levi is singled out, though, because it is assigned a special task and hence merits special status. Chapter 3 delineates the role of the Levi'im as servants of God in the Mishkan. And like the chapters that surround it, it too begins with the genealogy. Ve'ela toldot Aharon u'Moshe b'yom diber Hashem et Moshe b'har Sinai. Ve'ela shmot b'nei Aharon habechor Nadav Avihu Elazar v'itamar. These are the descendants of Moses and Aaron on the day that the Lord spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, Nadav the firstborn, Avihu, Elazar, and Itamar. The tribe of Levi, represented by Aaron and his family, are thereby introduced. The story immediately takes a tragic turn, however. The death of Aaron's sons, first recounted in Parshat Shmini, is repeated here. Recall that they died because they brought an unauthorized offering to God. And here the story is recapitulated. Vayama Nadav Avihu lifnei Hashem, v'hakrivam eish zara lifnei Hashem b'midbar Sinai, ubanim lo hayu lahem. Vayichahen Elazar v'itamar al pnei Aharon avihem. Nadav and Avihu died before the Lord when they brought alien fire before the Lord in the Sinai desert, and they had no children. Elazar and Itamar, however, served as Kohanim in the presence of Aaron their father. In a harrowing reminder to all, and especially to the tribe of Levi, now tasked with temple service, the Torah offers this cautionary tale. The warning, Hazar hakarev yumat, any outsider who approaches shall be put to death, is accordingly repeated several times in this parsha. One may not approach God uninvited. Examining the death of Aaron's sons further, there is a disturbing Gemara that strips our verse out of context and instead offers a local read, considering anew the reason for Nadav and Avihu's untimely passing. Yevamot 64a says, Abba Hanan said in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, anyone who does not engage in reproduction is chayav mita, liable for death. For it is said of Aaron's sons, and they had no children, suggesting that if they had children, they would not have died. So let's be clear. Abba Hanan is here arguing that Nadav and Avihu deserved to die because they had no children. Now this is a far cry from the pshat that suggests that they had no children because they died young. But this seems somewhat beside the point. The Gemara is a very harsh one, and it has troubled me for some time. How could the rabbis hold anyone accountable for not having children? What of the countless people for whom having children is a struggle? What of those never blessed with the gift of partnership, let alone reproduction? Could infertility, such a source of terrible suffering for some, really simultaneously be a sin? To explore this a bit further, let's consider another very similar Gemara. In Breshit Lamed, Rachel's struggle with infertility is described, and her heartfelt reaction to it is articulated. Vatera Rachel ki lo yalda li Yaakov, vatikane Rachel be'achota, vatomer el Yaakov, hava li banim, v'im ayin meta anochi. And Rachel saw that she had borne no children to Jacob, and Rachel envied her sister, and she said to Jacob, give me children, and if not, I am dead. On these heartbreaking words, if not, I am dead, Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi on Nidarim 64b says the following, Kol adam she'ein lo vanim chashuv kemet. A person who is childless is chashuv kemet, considered as dead, for it is written of Rachel, give me children, and if not, I am dead. And it was taught, 4 others are accounted as dead, a poor person, a leper, a blind person, and one who is childless. This statement could be read as a parallel to that of Abba Hanan, but it seems to me to send quite a different message. By grouping an infertile person together with one who suffers from poverty, illness, or blindness, Rabbi Yoshua, I believe, is demonstrating a sensitivity to the pains of childlessness. You see, all of the conditions listed here are ones of social isolation. People in the community often overlook those who are suffering from these ailments. They all feel contagious or threatening. like poverty, infertility can feel disempowering. Like illness, it can feel like an affliction. Like blindness, it can make one feel aimless, like one doesn't know where to go and cannot see a way forward. Infertility, then, is hardly a sin worthy of death, but rather it is, like Rachel indicated, a kind of death. It entails profound loss of control, loss of hope, loss of a sense of self. There is yet one more read of this Gemara that I'd like to offer in the name of one of my students, Dalit Berezen Bar. The Gemara says here, Kol Adam she'en lo banim chashuv kemet. A person without children is chashuv kemet. It does not say nechshav kemet. Perhaps Rabbi Yeshua is not arguing that childless people ought to be considered dead, nechshavim kemetim, but perhaps he's suggesting that they are chashuv kemet, as important as the dead. In our tradition, a dead person is one whom we respect through kavod hamet, whom we protect through shmirah, whom we accompany through levayat hamet. And seen through this nuanced lens, perhaps Chazal wanted to teach us that when a person, like Rachel, feels lifeless due to infertility or other ailments, the role of the community must not be to mock his or her situation, God forbid, or to whitewash it, or to pity it from the sidelines, but rather, as we are charged in the case of a met, a wholly dead person, we are to accompany her there. We ought to respect her in her struggle, guard her in her pain, sit with her, and escort her through her journey. The voice of Abba Hanan is thankfully a lone one. As we start the book of Bamidbar, let us take the message of Rabbi Yehoshua with us instead. When we encounter people wandering in the desert of life, let us see them as chashuvim kemetim, important, holy, vulnerable souls deserving of respect, protection, and supportive accompaniment. Shabbat Shalom.